All right, sounds good. Well, welcome to the Fire Up Connect. We just did like a really quick introduction so everybody gets to know each other. And so I wanted to just go through the things that we're gonna do it in this meeting. First is we're gonna process our Q&A. Since you've got some information already from each other, you can have a chance to ask someone a question. And then after you answer your question, you're gonna go ask someone else that hasn't been asked. And this is going to at least help us understand some of the fundamentals of our businesses, and people will learn more about it. And then the second part of our meeting is going to have an expert present, which is today is Christine Damko, who is the Economic Development Manager of City of Temecula. So she's going to be presenting for 7 minutes, and then we had 3 minutes to do a Q&A. Then after that, we'll go ahead and share our business information in such in regards to your success sharing, goals and challenges. And then lastly, any way that we can all collaborate and find ways that we can work together. Okay, is that good? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with Christine. Christine, do you have anyone that you would like to ask a question based on what you've heard so far?
Putting me on the spot, Marie. I'm not sure.
No, whatever you ask.
Well, I would like to, I have a question for everyone. While I was listening to everyone speak, I was wondering if they consider themselves a startup or an existing business. And the reason why I asked that is because April is Riverside County Innovation Month. And so, so is that proper thing to do, Marie, is to ask each one of you if you consider yourself a startup entrepreneur or a seasoned business?
Okay, you might have to ask one person right now because we will go with everyone asking the same different questions too. So you select who you want to ask with that question.
Okay, I'll ask John that question.
Okay.
Yeah, I would consider myself to be a startup entrepreneur. I've got 2 patents that are published that I'm the author of, and we're a tech company.
Okay, now John, your turn. Who do you want to ask a question?
Well, Jessica, I've never seen you on one of these meetings before. Can you tell me about your business and what your biggest challenge is?
Sure, I haven't seen you either, so good to meet you. Well, I basically am a connector. So sometimes the challenge is finding the right connections if it's not an immediate rapport obvious thing. And it takes a little bit of layers sometimes with business development to find where we can establish something and go from there.
Okay, all right, thank you, Jessica. So who do you want to ask a question?
And we can ask any question we want, right?
Yes, and you have to select the ones that haven't answered.
Right, okay, got it. Eddie, what is your favorite sport and why?
You have to unmute, Eddie.
Talking to myself, sorry. Oh, I've been a sports advocate for a long time, but I would say my favorite is rugby. I played rugby after college, and because of that, it's the camaraderie. You know, you're going out there, and it's the only sport that I know that you can really want to hurt your opponent and hit them hard. At the end of it, shake their hand and go out and get drunk and be happy. So we always had some of the best parties, and it's really social. And some of my best friends, I'll tell you a brief story. My best friend, we were number 2 in Maryland, so we were a pretty good team. So we had a lot of, I was on the B team, but I was played some of the championship stuff. And my best friend was he was called the scrum half. He's the guy who gets the ball like the quarterback, and he would run and he would go playing like across the board, horizontal to the ground, and then he would throw the ball backwards to me, and I would catch it. So we would go out there in the backyard and he would run practicing jumping on the lawn, throwing the ball backwards, and then we go drink. So rugby.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you, Eddie. So who do you want to ask next?
Well, I've been dying to ask Scott. Scott, I've been trying to figure out how to eat right with Nutra system and going to hypnotism, but I still haven't figured out a good way to control eating correctly. I have this here. Sorry. Good book called, highly recommend, called Atomic Habits. Excuse me, blue screen's not on. But how do you really change your habits to eat right? Because it's more than just having food in the cupboard. It is more than just having a cookbook.
Well, that's a longer conversation that I have for this session between you and I right now. And
Okay.
So we have 1 minute.
What's the cliff notes?
Scientifically, you need to create new neuronal pathways in the brain, which we all know takes approximately 21 days to create. So just thinking about it and having a conversation with me is not going to do anything. It actually requires you to actually lay out a plan and follow the plan committedly, and then it'll change. It's as simple as that, and it's not as simple as that.
Okay,
great.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Scott, who do you want to ask next?
Conversation.
Yes. Who do you want to ask next? Scott, who do you want to ask next?
I'll ask Christine. And we're asking challenge, is that what it was? Or
No, it's not a challenge. Any questions you might have for her?
Okay, well, Christine, what do you do for the city of Temecula?
I am the city's economic development manager. So I grow and foster businesses. I attract business to the city, and I'm also the public information officer. So all the social media that you see coming from the city comes from our office.
Cool, nice.
All right. So did we miss? Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and move on to Ken. I'm gonna ask Ken a question. So Ken,
okay.
What is your priority for this year?
Which one?
I mean, you tell us.
Oh, food, fashion, and finance. Actually, my priority is reinventing radio. So we are not only a seasoned business, but we are a new startup because we're reinventing, like I said, radio for the 22nd century, and combining all the social media elements with the traditional style of media, broadcast media. We're actually creating a new hybrid. So, and I'm fortunate enough to have Marie as like my guinea pig for pulling this off. So,
all right, there you go. Okay, well, thank you so much, Ken. All right, so we're gonna move on to our next part of our meeting, and let's welcome Christine Damko, who's going to give us the economic development update for the city of Temecula. So let's do this. I'm gonna give you the access to share your screen. Go ahead, Christine.
All right, you guys can see my screen here?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So I have 7 minutes, so I'll be very brief. I'll just roll right into it. A lot of people, I'm not sure if those of us on the Zoom today live in Temecula or in the area or do business with people who work and live in the city of Temecula. But I'm just going to give you a brief update on how Temecula is doing economically during this COVID environment. We hear a lot of negative and sad press about tons of business closures. And through this past year and nationwide and in Temecula, we've had business closures as a result of COVID. And we have natural business closures that close during this COVID, but it wasn't part of COVID. And we wanted to generally know how much. Was it as devastating as the press is letting on to be? And we took some information actually from Southern California Edison, and we figure, okay, every business needs electricity. So Edison has a commercial division, if you will, and they measure commercial accounts. And so what you see here is two charts really comparing 2019 active and closed accounts compared to 2020. The active accounts are in blue and the closed accounts are in that pink color. So the left-hand side is 2019, and you see the third quarter, we've had about 1,600 active accounts and 692 closed. Compared to 2020, which was COVID, we've had 1,588 active accounts and 75 closures. So when you measure Edison electrical meters, this is still positive news that our businesses are not necessarily closing at the high speed of rate that we are hearing, but really they're pivoting and evolving, and the employment is rather changing more than business closures. This is just another quick slide. Temecula is down at the bottom. These are the commercial electrical meters from Edison at their top 10 cities in Riverside County. You see Temecula has the most active commercial accounts. This is a slide from UC Riverside, their School of Business. This is during really over the past year, and this is kind of measuring consumer spending and vehicle sales. Vehicle sales are very important to Temecula. They account for 27% of our sales tax revenue, and sales tax revenue consists of half of our budget. So half of our budget is derived from sales tax spending. You see in the chart to the left, in the March timeframe of 2020, there was a dip. That's when COVID just started happening. But then you saw, especially with goods, the really sharp V. So it went right back up. That's a good sign. Again, with retail sales, the chart on the left, you see the sharp V, and then retail sales goes right back up. Our unemployment numbers, you see the unemployment numbers here. So Temecula, the unemployment numbers come out on a monthly basis, but generally our unemployment numbers are lower than the county, the state, and the nation. This is just another chart here of the major industries. And I guess the overall theme for this slide is that the industries, yes, they've had an impact, but more importantly, they are coming back steadily. The jobs are coming back steadily. So we have a couple of theories of why our sales tax in particular, why our numbers are not as devastating as what initially expected. Generally, the high unemployment rates were usually or primarily felt in the lower wage service sector. So think of the restaurant industry, for example, the servers, which produce a lesser share of the total sales tax revenues. So our professionals or analysts, those higher wage jobs continue to work from home, and they experience an increase in disposable income due to reduced commutes, reduced work-related costs. They're not going out to lunch as part of work, less entertainment options. And so really it created this pent-up demand, which created more home improvement projects. People were more apt to go and buy a car. People were more apt to purchase goods on the internet. In addition, the low interest rates and the favorable lending practices allowed for extra money to be spent. And again, it's housebound customers. You have a consumer that still has their job that is pent up at home. And so this really created record number of online shoppers, and it really increased the sales tax pool allocations. Just an FYI, all cities, including the city of Temecula, when we get a pool of money, if you will, from online shopping. So the pool of money is kind of divvied between the numerous cities. So we do see some sales tax revenue from online shopping, which increased. Just a quick snapshot of the Temecula consumer. This is based on credit card spending. And you can see, based on credit card spending, only 26% of Temecula spending is from the Temecula resident. The rest is from people outside of city limits, from other cities in the county, sometimes other counties, and San Diego County, of course, is they're right next door. This reinforces that Temecula is not only a tourist destination, but it's also a retail destination. And it is one component of why we at the city, I primarily focus on a robust retail attraction program, is to make sure that our consumers, whether they be the Temecula resident or beyond, has options and the latest trends, if you will, in all things retail and experience and restaurants, that they continue to invest their dollars in Temecula. And we thought this was great news. In the middle of the pandemic in September, Temecula has a Raising Cane's. It's a quick serve chicken restaurant, drive-through restaurant. The property, so the restaurant is still there, just the property sold. But the property sold for over $1,700 a square foot. That's the highest price ever on a national basis for a Raising Cane's property is here in Temecula. We were pretty, we thought that was a pretty telling statistic about how even through a global pandemic, Temecula continues to remain a strong market. I'll just briefly go through this. We continue to see new development. This is on Jefferson Avenue. It's our new up and coming redevelopment area. We hope to be a mixed use business corridor. We have our first residential product approved, Las Haciendas. Also in that corridor, we have numerous hotels approved. Wood Spring Suites, Staybridge is actually just opened on Jefferson Avenue. Hilton Garden Inn is almost open, and a quick note about them is they have some subterranean parking underneath the building. And if you know anything about construction, to do that is pretty expensive to build subterranean parking. And again, that's just another example of how companies, Hilton in this case, is invested and believes in the Temecula market. The old Kmart building near the mall, it's a vacant big box, a former Kmart. At Home, it's a new, not new, it's new to our market, but just think of a Home Goods on steroids. So they have submitted applications. We have some more assisted living. Assisted living continues to be a strong product in our market. Temecula Valley Lexus is currently in construction. You can see the building actually going up on near the freeway. We have near the famous duck pond, we have a multifamily community recently gained approvals. And so that actually will have beautiful views right there in the center of town. Somers Bend, so this is the city's latest planned community. It's located on the northeastern portion of town, really near the city of Murrieta, the northern portion of town. And if you can imagine, with the robust housing market, these new homes, they can't build them fast enough. So it's a beautiful community that's coming along quite nicely. Here's some couple of just random developments that have happened during this COVID market. Tesla has a showroom and actually they're open. Formal application has been submitted and they just opened actually. New developments in new restaurants continue to open and gain approval in Old Town. So you see La Bottega and Pop Spin is there under construction. And the Sears Auto Center actually just transformed into a new owner. So we don't have, our buildings don't generally sit vacant for a while. If you see it vacant, there's probably an application on it or working with someone. Same with this building here. We call it the former Root Beer Building down on Old Town Front Street. We have a proposal for that. This is the rendering, if you will, the computer rendering of what is proposed. And that is it. Like I mentioned, we're very active on social media. Our office manages the social media, so it's very economic development focused, and we're constantly announcing new retailers and celebrating existing businesses on our social media. And that's it for me, Marie. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Christine. Okay, so let's go ahead and stop the sharing, and we're going to open the question and answer portion for your presentation. So
okay.
Okay, so let me do.
This is my
okay, there you go.
Oh, there we go.
All right. So everyone, who has a question for Christine?
What communities are, well, I guess what counties are commuting or moving to the Temecula Valley? I mean, do you face like at Orange County, LA, San Diego? I mean, you're getting a lot of influx of immigrants, right? Or no?
Interesting enough, last year our population went down slightly, about 1,000 people. It went down, but I would say in terms of business-wise, generally the community that knows of us the most is San Diego, which seems natural. A few, I would say about 5 years ago, if you would have said, how does the Orange County or LA market view you from a business perspective? I would say it's hit and miss. from them now is definitely more stronger. I think because we are, Temecula is finally, do I dare say, being taken more seriously, but we're finally being considered as a potential option to relocate a business or to even move here, from a high-end community-wise. And so the awareness of Temecula from Orange County is definitely more familiar. LA gets a little bit less, but there is a familiarity to it. And I always say if they have a family, they are more apt to coming to Temecula. The singles, the singles are less aware from a business perspective. But obviously wine country definitely helps in marketing us.
Okay.
Well, how does wine country interact with all this new development? Because quite frankly, Temecula, looks like Orange County. I mean, you got the 6-lane streets, and I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, it's like 20 years ago what Orange County looked like when it first kind of transformed itself. So is there issues with the access to the wine country, or
Yeah, I definitely take
road?
Yeah, I definitely take your comment as a compliment. I think Orange County is beautiful, and we take a lot of pride in our city. Interesting thing to note is the county wine country is located in the county of Riverside. It is not within the city of Temecula. It's not in our control. Although we do partner very, very closely with the county and the Tourism Bureau to make it seamless. And although it's not under our control, we definitely realize the economic benefits that wine country brings to us and the awareness that it brings. And so where it's a constant working together and strategizing two agencies on how we can make that seamless transition, moving people in and out of wine country.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I got about 20 more, but I'll do it later.
Jessica has a question. Go ahead, Jessica.
Hi, Christine. So I really appreciated your overview of how Temecula has weathered through the circumstances and the upswing that it seems to be in with new builds, and then the restaurants and things like starting to reacclimate. So I guess my question for you would be, apart from hospitality and new construction business, what kind of trends or things are you seeing for maybe college kids or entrepreneurs or people looking for ways to grow a business? You mentioned your first question earlier today about April representing something. So I was just curious what employment rates and people moving into the area, what that might look like outside of tourism and hospitality and things like that.
Yeah, thank you, Jessica. April is Riverside County Innovation Month. And so the month of April, really the county and all the cities inside the county, including Temecula, our goal is to really recognize and highlight the tech companies and innovative companies located in our cities and the county. We will be having a pitch practice. You guys can reach out to me if you're interested in pitching a pitch practice. So that is one upcoming project we're working on. The city also partners with the SBDC, the Small Business Development Center, and they are truly amazing. They have a whole conglomeration of professionals working to expand and help businesses for free. The city is a partner. We give them office space. They're located in our former city hall, our business incubator. They've added, due to COVID, they've added on 11 professionals to help, everything from COVID relief to, gosh, you name it, they have it. And numerous businesses in our city have utilized their services. So it's pretty cool to see businesses in our city grow and prosper as a result of these free services. And you don't need to be a Temecula resident, and you don't need to be a Temecula business. So a lot of great resources for our businesses.
Okay, thank you, Christine. One more question. Who has any questions out there? John, Scott, Eddie? Okay.
Well, I don't necessarily have any questions. I find the topic very interesting. Matter of fact, if I was going to go back to school, which I wouldn't, I'd probably study what you're doing right now because I find it very intriguing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, and I think we need to point out that we have a lot of colleges in and around Temecula, and a lot of arrangements with the Cal State, and also with the community college, and then some private colleges as well. Is that not correct?
That's absolutely true. They're part of our greatest partners, and MSJC, Mount San Jacinto College, has the most beautiful building in Temecula, I think, in the smack in the middle of town, that they're going to be opening to students, hopefully, I think this fall, but it's gorgeous, and definitely Class A all the way. And we're great partners with higher education. It is a city priority.
Okay, John, did you have a question?
Well, I didn't really have a question because, like, I'm based in Florida, so I mean, could we work together with the city using your, like, do you know what I'm trying to say?
Sorry, for some reason, there's a plane. I don't know if you guys could hear it. There was like a plane flying over my house. So what was that, John?
So John, go ahead and repeat your question.
My company is Florida based, so I mean, is there any way that we could, like, do something with the city, like with what you do?
Yeah. Do you live in Florida, or where are you living?
Yeah, I live in Florida.
Oh, I could say that I would say you can utilize some services, but I don't know how you're going to get here.
He can move his business to Temecula Valley. Would you help him out?
Of course, yes.
Because his business is an app, and we can offer that business to any of the hospitals in Temecula, right? Or any companies that need some sort of a certification or badge before they can enter into their facility.
Oh, well, I just kind of meant related to what you do with economic development. I wasn't trying to be super salesy, but yeah, I mean, if I would love any kind of help you could give us.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Christine, were you able to put in your information on the PowerPoint, or can you just put it on the chat where they can reach you? Okay. Now, can you please go ahead and provide your comments and feedback to Christine based on the presentation you learned from her? Just put it on the chat. You can send her a private message on the chat if you want. So please go ahead. Let's take the time to do that. And Christine, thank you so much for giving this information. It's amazing what Temecula has done, all the accomplishment that I mean, it's been a while since I've talked to you, but it's incredible, throughout this year with COVID, that business are booming in Temecula that I didn't even know. And so it's so nice to really understand that, this is what's happening in the city of Temecula, and I'm so excited. Now, can I ask you a question? Is there any still land opportunity for us to be able to build, vertical buildings? Because I do have a construction company who's looking for land that he wants to buy and build like maybe 100 to 600 apartments for veterans and senior community.
Yeah, although land is harder to come by in Temecula, we're mostly built out. Really the next phase of us is redevelopment. And so where I briefly mentioned Jefferson Avenue, the west side of the city, has a bunch of redevelopment opportunities.
Okay.
And most importantly, it's zoned properly, and the environmental has been done to really prep the developer to come in and redevelop.
Okay, I would be interested in getting that because I do have someone who is interested, and we might be able to even provide the funding for it. Okay,
Amazing.
thank you so much. Okay, so let's move on to our next meeting, next part of our meeting. This is the time. I'm looking at the time. We only have 15 minutes. So what I'm gonna do is we'll go ahead and just figure out what's the best way for us to collaborate. Knowing that Christine, you know, whatever she presented, I think there's a lot of opportunities for you guys to reach out to Christine. Ken, with the radio show, definitely you want to schedule a meeting with the City of Temecula in regards to having that radio show in the
Yes.
City of Temecula. So definitely schedule that meeting. And then Eddie, I think that is with your product, I think it's good to do some presentation with the city also in regards to what you can provide for all the companies in regards to the data. Okay, so
We could help them a lot, but I think it's post.
what's that?
They probably could use our API instead of showing us yearly data, show us monthly.
Yes.
So we could help them a lot with our APIs.
Okay, so Christine, is that something that you think it will be good for Eddie to present the information to the City of Temecula, because it's actually going to help a lot of the businesses or even outside companies that are coming here to check out, you know, the properties and all types of location in the City of Temecula.
Yeah, I would request that he send me a sample of what the heck
Yeah.
what type of demographics they are, because first of all, I'm very visual, so it's hard. Like I'm a picture person, and then second of all is we have a ton of demographic information, so I need to see exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, and it's going to be the same situation with John. John, with your virtual badge, I think it would be good to show some presentation in regards to how the businesses can benefit from your business. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now, Scott and Jessica. Scott is someone that actually educate people on eating, lifestyle eating. And I know you have a lot of events, Christine, that you could probably connect, you know, Scott for teaching. They've had like 9,000 connections that they can reach out to people. So if you have anything that you wanted to bring it to his connections, I think that would be awesome. So Scott, definitely you know, provide your input, your contact information to Christine, because they have a lot of, what are some of the events that you have, Christine, in regards to food and health and wellness?
Well, there's a few different avenues. Obviously we have a senior center, and they offer, right now they have drive-through, you know, offering healthy foods to our drive-through seniors. They have that program going on right now. We have a rec center where we offer type of recreation classes with contract instructors. And we have, pre-COVID, we have a health and a resource fair, you know, everything, all health related,
So there's
vendors. So we have just various opportunities in all different sectors of the city.
Okay. So Scott, that's a lot of ways that you could promote your business and connect with the city of Temecula. Okay.
Sure.
All right, sounds good. And Jessica, I mean, is there anything that you see yourself fit into what she presented today?
Um, yeah, I was kind of laughing because we almost do the same thing.
Yeah.
But you do it in a very like centralized local level, obviously with a specific area, with creating partnerships. So my immediate question, because I also care a lot about creating partnerships and advocacy, I was curious how I might be able to support you in perhaps the event coming up for the entrepreneurs, the small business owners, the pitch off and things you're talking about. I'd love to see how I might be able to support you with that. And what you might not have been able to talk about today, there may be specific, for you personally, specific parts about the community development or redevelopment that you're interested in. And I may know of programs or connections that might help foster that.
Okay, that's good. Christine, what else can you share to the group in regards to, the city of Temecula? Is there any last thing you would like to share?
Really, it's gosh, it's been a heck of a year, and we finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. We're hoping, and things are changing constantly, and we really just appreciate our businesses, and for I don't think anyone actually that may do business here in Temecula, but is not located in Temecula, right? You might be the most local, Marie.
Yeah, but Ken is in Riverside and Eddie is in LA, but his business is for everybody. That's why it's still they can do business with the city of Temecula. And of course Scott is available, and John's business also is the same thing. It's open, and that's why I was reaching out to you in regards to the hospitals because of what John was using.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, sounds good.
I'm local. I'm local.
Yeah,
you're local.
A radio station, please.
Yeah, he's local, so he's going to be able to. So, Ken, do you want to interview Christine for the?
Yes, that's why I was breaking in, is that we need to have her do an interview with Fabulous Lifestyles, because we focus on food, fashion, and finance, and she hit on all three of those, and she would be like the perfect guest, because I think a lot of people don't get the Temecula Valley. Even though Temecula is not the entire valley, it runs the entire valley. And people all over the United States, all over California, are leaving California because they don't have all the things that Temecula Valley has, they think. And here they are in Los Angeles. They're willing to go to Las Vegas, and yet they could stop off in the Temecula Valley and have everything from education, jobs, wineries. I mean, it's unbelievable what the Temecula Valley has. And nobody understands that like we do at KCAA Radio.
All right, Ken. I know
True ambassador. Thanks, Ken.
Well, no, you did a really good job, and I think a lot of people don't understand that the Temecula Valley could end up being the next Silicon Valley because of the pricing. I mean, it's far superior to Phoenix or even Austin in terms of where it's located and what's available. So anyway, that's just my thought.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Make sure you have your contact information so everybody can connect with each other. Okay. And save the chat.
I'm going to shoot you an email,
I thank you, Christine, for being here. By the way, we're recording this and we're going to be sharing it to all the members. And if you want, I can also put it out on social media if that is okay with you. Would that be good? Would that be good?
Fine with me.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right. Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye, good to see you again.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Oh, Jessica, can you hold on for a minute?
Yep.